What is up, guys? I'm George Mossy. So last night, 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After Season 7, Episode 7 has aired. Now, we checked in with Andrei and Libby, and Andrei had a meeting with his immigration lawyer. And we found out that his green card renewal interview is extremely rare. The fact that they want him to come in for an interview, she said, accounts for less than 5% of the cases that she's ever seen in her career, meaning there is a issue and they want to address this issue in person. Now, if you remember in the previous seasons, we have watched Libby's family try to get answers about Andrei's past. And if you remember correctly, Andrei has gotten extremely defensive to anyone who's asked anything about his past. And if you remember, Charlie and Chuck went and asked one of Andrei's ex-coworkers about his past, and Andrei literally snapped and went into a screaming match. Now, whether or not there is something in Andrei's past that people aren't aware of, we don't know, but we do know that every time anyone tries to get any information regarding Andrei's past in any country that he's ever lived, or even in any work that he has ever done, he makes sure that that information is impossible to find. So when his lawyer asked him if there was anything on his record or anything going on that she needed to know, and he said no, he gave that same strange look of confusion, as though that there is definitely something in his mind that he believed was going on, but he refuses to say. Now, I believe Andrei is under the impression as long as you don't tell anyone, that information will never be found. Now, dealing with the federal government, that is never the case. They can look up any information about you from any place, and they have access to records that you would not believe they would have access to. So whether or not Andrei was led over here by mistake or something was overlooked, and now they are actually looking into it, again, we don't know. Whether or not he can be deported is very, very iffy, because we've watched many times on this show where people were in a relationship, the relationship ended, and the other person wanted to get them deported, and no one has ever really been deported from this show. Once you come over here on a K1 visa, it is almost impossible to be deported. Once you have been here and you did complete the marriage, whether or not that marriage actually works out is irrelevant, because you are not going to be deported even if you end that relationship in a short amount of time. So did anyone in Libby's family report him? Or do you think that this has something to do with Andrei's past that they actually found this time? Now, I don't think that Libby's family did report anything to Andrei. Even Libby said that she doesn't believe they would even know the steps of how to go about to report him to immigration, to even make that phone call. And I know it's a Google search away, but I do feel like her family has kind of written them off. They don't really communicate with them, they don't reach out, they don't see each other much. And I think that that animosity is growing smaller, because the least you see the person, the less that animosity grows. So I think that this might have to do with something that Andrei was hiding on his visa application. He just seems to get too weird and strange when anyone asks him about his past. Now, whether or not there is something there, we're going to have to keep watching. But we do know to this day, Andrei is in America, because they just recently welcomed a new baby, Winston Leo. Congratulations to Libby and Andrei for that. All right, guys, I'm George Mossy. Make sure you're following me on all social media at George Mossy and GeorgeMossy.com for all your 90 Day Fiancé news and updates. I'll talk to y'all really soon.